Good evening, good evening, good evening. After a little break, we are back. Sunday Night Satsang with John and
Michelle.
Yes, so we're
nice
glad to be
you.
back with you once more. We missed you.
A couple of weeks.
Well, Michelle had a little bit of flu and now she's back full strength again. Yeah, that's all good. So welcome to the Sunday Night Satsang. This is where we find our little bit of sacredness on the weekend. And this is where we anchor a bit of light into our awareness. So welcome. We love knowing who we're talking to. So if you would like to just say hello in the comments box, let us know where you're from. And please, if you can, press the like and share button because it really gets it out into the greater community. So press the like and the share button if you can. And tonight we're going to be looking at a couple of different things. First of all, Michelle's going to share a little bit of astrology with us to see where we are at as far as the stars go. And then we're going to be looking at the power of imagination, which is really, really important in the transformation of consciousness that we're going through at the moment, because what it is really is a regaining in our power, of our true authentic power. And so imagination is definitely part of this process of awakening. So we're going to be looking at that tonight. So welcome, and we're going to start out as we always do with a little bit of centering meditation. Michelle will share a little bit of astrology update, then we'll share some information on the power of imagination, and then we'll end with a beautiful visualization to help awaken that power of imagination within us, which Michelle will do. That's beautiful. So welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
And let's
Thanks
start
for joining
out.
us and spending a little bit of your Sunday evening with us. Hello, editor. And I saw Marty and I saw Paula.
Oh, that's lovely. Lovely group. Yeah, we missed you all. But thank you for coming back. And so let's start this evening by just centering ourselves into alignment with life. And believe it or not, life is not yesterday and life is not tomorrow. Life is always in the present moment. And life is the most powerful energy we can ever align with if we want to allow our lives to flow in a creative, intelligent way. So let's just gently settle back in our chairs. See that you have made arrangements that you won't be disturbed for the next little while. Comfortable with cushions. And just gently close your eyes. And just withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places. Just becoming present with what is in this moment. In other words, being aware of the isness of life in this moment. As humans, we have the propensity to make what isn't more important than what is. But just for the next little while, we're going to make what is more important than what isn't. And what isn't is time, isn't past, future, that's not here right now. So let's just gently bring our awareness to the one tool that we always work with, and that's the breath. Becoming aware of this beautiful rhythm and flow of the breath. It's called the breath of life because while we can be without so much for quite a long time, breath, only a minute or two. So it really is the breath of life. And it's with us whether we're awake or asleep. So let's just take a few moments to be grateful for this breath, the breath of life, for this breath that we're taking right now. And let's start out by taking a very deep breath in right down to your lower diaphragm. So we're really drawing the air in, and then we have a beautiful out breath, and we just sigh it all out, letting everything go. We have a second very deep breath in, pushing your tummy out like a big ball, drawing the air right the way down to your toes this time. And then that beautiful long sigh out, just releasing your shoulders and your neck muscles as you do that. And taking a third deep breath in, deeper than all the others. So we're really filling our bodies with this beautiful gift of life called the breath. And as we breathe out, we once more just release all that no longer serves us. Just release any worries that you carry on your forehead, any weight that you carry on your shoulders. Just release it and allow life to take care of everything. Just allow life, hand everything over to life. And just allow life to breathe you in this moment. Yes, we were actively participating in the breathing process, but now we actually hand that over as well to this intelligence called life. This intelligence that knows how to breathe us. It also knows how to take the oxygen from our lungs and circulate it through all the arteries and veins and capillaries to every single cell in our body, every moment of the day and night, even when we are sleeping, even when we're unconscious. This intelligence called life is awake and aware in our body and circulating this oxygenated blood around our body, nourishing and nurturing and bathing every cell in our body, and then clearing away anything that needs to be cleared away. This energy called life beats our heart, digests our food, and in this moment is enabling us to even hear this satsang, to hear this meditation. It's life that does that. And let's for a moment become quiet and still inside, opening ourselves up to all the sounds in our environment, to listen to those faint, far away sounds. We have to become quite still and quiet on the inside. And just be the witness, without labeling, without judging. Just be the awareness that witnesses the sounds around you. From where we are, we can hear a breeze on the outside. What can you hear? As you become quiet and still, as you become the space into which all sounds arise and fade away. Maintaining your awareness of the breath as well as you listen. And if you can, becoming aware of the beating of your own heart in your eardrums. Every time your heart beats, it pushes that pressure wave through your eardrums. Just see if in this moment you can pick that up with your awareness. Noticing that it isn't your name that listens, it's not your gender that listens, it's not your age or your education that listens. It's just an awareness, quiet, still awareness that listens. It's an eternal awareness. See in this moment what pictures form behind your eyelids. Become aware of any colors, shapes behind your eyelids. And once more, become aware of who is aware of those shapes, those colors, those textures. And as you listen and as you see behind your eyelids, become aware of where your hands are touching right now. Become aware of the sensation of touch. Become aware of any heat in the palm of your hands. Any tingling at the tips of your fingers. Become aware of the touch of the chair that you're sitting on, the seat and the backrest. Become aware of the sensation of the floor beneath your feet or where your feet are touching right now. Becoming aware of the temperature of the air in the room on your cheeks. Maintain the simultaneous awareness of all of that. Your feet on the floor, your bum and your back on the chair. The sensation of the room temperature on your cheeks. Awareness of the palms of your hands, the tips of your fingers, everything you can hear and everything you can see behind your eyelids. And the breath and the breathing and the beating of your heart. Become aware of the sensation of life throughout your body just in this moment. You may feel it as a tingling sensation everywhere at once in your body. Become aware of the beauty of life, the resilience of life, and the sacredness of life, just in this moment. When we honor this sacredness with our presence, with our attention, with our acknowledgement, and we give thanks for being together tonight and sharing the light of our own awareness and the love of our hearts with all who are on this satsang with us tonight. This beautiful, beautiful community of conscious individuals striving for connection and communing with the one love. In this love we are all guided and protected. In this one love we are shown the way. In this one love all our needs are met. And there is nothing to fear, nothing to concern ourselves with. And so we take a very deep breath in again, filling our bodies with this beautiful energy called life, the breath of life. And then that beautiful long releasing, letting go and surrendering to this higher intelligence. And one last very deep breath in now, right down to your toes, filling your whole body up like a ball, like a big balloon. And then the long, long surrendering breath out as we just hand over to life. And when you're ready, you may very gently, softly open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. Look around your room and just see how much more softer and more inviting the room is, how much more friendly life is in this moment. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, John. That was beautiful. Thanks, everybody. Hi, welcome, and thanks for joining us again. We've missed you. We haven't seen you for a few weeks. So we're going to talk about the imagination, which is a beautiful subject. But I'll first give you a little small update on what's going on astrologically. So the sun's just moved into Scorpio, which is a water sign, which is what we call a fixed water sign, and it'll be there for a month. And whenever the sun's in Scorpio, things tend to get quite intense. Water, it's fixed water, and fixed water is almost like a dam of water. It's a holding space for water, which in astrology relate to feelings. So the feelings that we feel can be kind of bigger when the sun moves through Scorpio. And it's going to be joined by Mars and then Mercury, so there's going to be a lot of Scorpio energy. And over the next while, those the sun and Mars are going to actually be in an opposition to Uranus and a square to Saturn. So it's going to be activating that Uranus-Saturn square again, which is very much a fixed sort of energy, which is, I want it this way and I'm not budging, and you want it that way and you're not budging. So there could be a lot of conflict around, either internal conflict or external conflict, which obviously we're seeing all over the place. So just to be aware of the feelings that are rising for us at this time, and also that Scorpio is about power. It's about where our power actually exists, and it's also about the subconscious, the what's beneath the surface. And very often we are driven by what is beneath the surface, and we're not even aware of it. So we're not aware of the thoughts that we're thinking, the feelings that we're feeling, and we don't realize that that's actually determining our reality and our life, really. So it's what's underneath the surface, what's in the subconscious. So it's just a good time to really be aware of the feelings. And I would also say to soften wherever you can this month. So when you feel that conflict, that at odds with either yourself or somebody else, to see if you can just hold a space for them where they are, because everybody's moving through something at the moment. So to just hold the space for whoever's in front of you, hold a space for yourself to feel what you need to feel, and to be aware of those feelings, and to be aware of how they are actually rippling out into the world and into our relationships and into our reality. They are creating our reality. Our feelings create our reality. Thoughts are involved, but feelings, it's what we feel, how we feel, that actually determines what our reality is going to be. So we want to talk more about that tonight. Yeah, and this month in Inner Space, this is a sort of a prelude to it, because this month in November, in Inner Space, we're going to be working with the theme of stepping into our power, which is very much a Scorpio theme as well. It's power in the good sense, because power can obviously be abused as well. So our true power, where does our true power actually exist, and how do we harness that, and how do we ripple that out? How do we create a butterfly effect with our true power?
Yeah,
because I believe that's what the world's really needing right now.
It's really a dissemination, a discernment between what is power and what is force, because power is not force, not at all. And so, we'll be looking at that this month. And in the past, we have very much given up our power, our feel, to the world around us. We gave up our power as children. We gave it up to our parents. We gave it up to our teachers. We gave it up to figures in authority. And I believe that now we're moving through a time of self-empowerment again, not in a selfish way, but in a way that aligns us back with our true, sacred, creative energy, which is God-given, which is divine-given. So it's that incredible, true essence of alignment with the divine, where our will and the divine's will becomes one, and we start to actively participate in that creative process. So that's really what we're going to be looking at. And, if you just think about it, that so much of our power is taken away from us by perception. We know that, for example, an elephant, when it's a baby and if it's brought up chained to a stake that it can't get away from, when it grows up to be an adult elephant, you can just put a little leash on that elephant's leg, and it won't even try to get away from it, because it's been programmed to believe through perception that it isn't strong enough to exercise its own free will. And I believe we're all conditioned in a certain way to negate the power, the immense power that we have within us. And part of the awakening process is to reawaken to that power, to reactivate that power, to remember that power, which is our true essence of being. In fact, we are a spark of the divine, and as such we have the divine's creative potential within us. But the world around us wants us to negate that power, wants us to give that power over to them, and particularly the media. It's I know that Noam Chomsky did that wonderful book many years ago, and there was a film, and it's called Manufactured Consent. So the world around us wants us to see the world a certain way, so that we actually can consent to giving up our power to whatever the authorities want us to believe. And so we thought, from an astrological point of view and where we're at, it would be a good idea to just remind everyone, because you know this, but to remind you of the true power that you have within your true essence, within your being. And we have two ways of accessing that power. The one way is, as Michelle mentioned, the power of feeling, choosing our own feelings. Instead of letting the world around us determine how we feel, we start to choose that. And the other way is through the power of imagination.
Yeah, and I think many of us forget that, and because we're not aware of our subconscious emotional patterning and mental patterning, we aren't aware that a lot of the time we might be spending our days or hours visualizing the exact thing that we don't want. So we're looking at the world and we're looking at the state of the world and we feel the fear rise up as to, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? What's going to become of us? And we focus our attention, our imagination on what we don't want, which is what they say worrying is thinking about what you don't want.
Praying for what you don't want.
Praying for what you don't want.
That's what worry is.
But we don't realize that because it's so conditioned and we being fed a lot of stuff all the time from the media and from other people. So where's our attention? Where's our focus? And what are we imagining? Because if we're imagining the worst case scenario, then we're actually helping to bring about the worst case scenario because we are that powerful, each and every one of us. And that's not special, like I'm not powerful and you're not. All of us are. As sparks of the divine, we are all very powerful because that power that we give to imagining something, so visualizing something, you see it, you feel it, and that goes out as a ripple into the universe. That's just the way it is. So whether we're visualizing fear and destruction, or whether we're visualizing the world that we really want, that's what we're actually going to manifest. And that's the power. That's our power. That is the power of imagination because the subconscious responds to feeling. So you have a thought, that's great, and you have an affirmation that's powerful, but it's actually what you feel, what you hold inside. And that often comes from the subconscious, so we're not even conscious of it. So it's to consciously be aware of what am I feeling on a daily basis? What stories am I playing over and over again? And to replace those stories and those feelings with something which is actually more aligned to where you want to be. So it's just to be cognizant of it. How many times are you going over that same speed bump during the course of the day? When you wake up at night and you're worried or you're anxious, to actually literally shift your mind into another paradigm and to visualize the state that you'd like to be in. Visualize it and then feel it. The power is in the feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we go back, say 100 years now, to maybe 1915, 1920, when there was some major breakthroughs in science and a whole new paradigm of science was born. And that was given the name quantum physics. And what these scientists were realizing through their studies and their experiments was that we don't live in a solid objective universe at all. That in fact, the word atom means that the smallest thing, the undivided, that which cannot be split up. Okay, that was the original idea behind the word atom. And then what they did is they went inside the atom and they found subatomic particles. And they went inside the subatomic particles and they found that there was nothing solid. There were just vortexes of energy. And the solid universe wasn't made up of bricks and solid things. It was made up of swirling vortexes of energy. And then what they found in their experiments was that we interacted directly with those swirling vortexes of energy out of which all matter is made. And that the mind of the experimenter directly influenced the outcome of their experiments. There was no objective universe. It was all a subjective universe. And that hasn't really filtered through in our educational system. We're still pretty much programmed to believe that the world is a physical object and we're a subject of that physical object. And we're subjected to the laws of that physical universe, the old Newtonian physics. But in fact, the new physics is very, very different. What it does, it hands back the power to us. And with our thoughts and with our feelings and with the power of imagination, we create the future experiences and even the future physical universe that we are meeting. And so this time of awakening is regaining, remembering the true authentic power that we have. And the imagination is just so phenomenally powerful. I mean, if you go into the works of Albert Einstein, he spoke a lot about imagination because the imaginal realm. And Einstein, realized that, his realizations that he had about light, for example, and matter and the interplay between the two of them came from his imagination. And he then worked it out rationally afterwards, and mathematically he had to form the language to actually communicate what he had discovered, which he communicated through learning mathematics. But it didn't come from that world. It came from his imagination. And he said that, imagination is more important than knowledge, because while knowledge points to all that was, imagination points to what can be, the possible creative potential for our future. So the question we have for you tonight is, what future do you want to imagine? Which future are you currently voting for with your thoughts and with your feelings? Because we collectively are making it all up. And so with our collective thoughts, with our collective imagination, we have the power to create a beautiful world for our children and our grandchildren to live on. Not the world that's created out of force, but a world that's created out of love, out of community, out of connection, out of empathy, sharing, compassion. That's a beautiful world. So I believe we have the power now. I absolutely know. We have the world to create. We have the power within us to create something absolutely magical. And what goes along with that is the belief in miracles. Yeah. Because that's how powerful we are. If we believe in miracles, miracles are possible. Exactly. So even though the world might look dark and dim at the moment, and maybe there are some very powerful beings orchestrating the direction that we're going in, there is the field of miraculous, and grace comes into that as well. So I believe with the belief that we can create miracles, and life can be miraculous and is miraculous, and with the power of our imagination combined with the power of feeling, we can create, and we are going to create. There's no doubt in my mind that we are going to do that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But we can create, and we are creating a beautiful future. But we need to participate in the process. We can't just sit back and watch our television sets. That's not going to work that way. We have to become conscious creators of reality. I remember, 15 years ago when I was doing talks on the Mayan calendar, the Mayans spoke about this time, and they said it's a time of becoming conscious creators. We've always been creating, but we've been creating, as Michelle said, from those unconscious patterns that have been running us. And now we're becoming conscious creators. So we're able to consciously create the world that we want, not the world that we were programmed through our socialization, from religion, from education, but the world that our heart wants. And that's a beautiful time to be here. If you think of a caterpillar, can only imagine sort of what a successful caterpillar can be. But when it goes through, it's a very squeezing process, and it goes into that pupa, and it's squeezed, and in there are those imaginal cells. And what emerges is something so beautiful, so magnificent, and so different to the old.
We can't even fathom it.
Correct.
And the thing is that our minds, our human mental capacity, can't fathom the hugeness and the complexity of the universe. We just can't in our human form. Mm-hmm. So it's to trust that when we actually have a belief, when we have a feeling, that is actually resonating, because it is. We just can't see it necessarily. Sometimes you can. And I mean, plant medicine, those kinds of things, you can see a certain more of a sliver than the rest of humanity. But it's to know that whatever we are feeling, we are creating. That it's key. So if we are feeling fear, we are feeding into fear. We're imagining a world of fear. Yeah. We're imagining when this happens and what's going to happen. And by imagining that in our mind's eye, we're feeling that, and then we're feeding that into the field. So it's just for each of us to be aware of that, so that we can, in presence, because you're only going to be aware in presence, is to, my mind's actually gone off onto a tangent about fears of the future, and then very gently bring it back and do the holding space for, okay, what vision do I want to hold for the future? How do I want to live? How do I want to feel? Yeah. What does my day feel like? How do I feel when I wake up in the morning? What kind of people are around me? What does my home feel like? Whatever it is, but to make it as real as possible. So if you want to feel free, and you feel that you feel very free when you're on a beach, for example, visualize that feeling of walking on the sand with your feet on the sand, and the sun filtering down, and the waves coming into shore, and the beauty around you, and feel it as much as you can with your senses, because the subconscious does not know the difference between reality and imagination. That's the other thing. So it doesn't know the difference. So your subconscious feeds into the field. Whatever you're imagining is going to be fed out into the field. So I mean, they've even done a lot of studies with athletes and people who aren't able to exercise, and by visualizing yourself exercising, by imagining that you're exercising, your body actually responds as if you're exercising. That's how powerful it is. It's incredibly powerful. If you have to go to a meeting and you visualize, you imagine yourself standing in your power at the meeting, giving the speech or doing the talk or whatever it is, you are imagining into the field, and you're creating a reality so that when you arrive, that's what's going to happen.
With the feeling.
So you've actually created that feeling of, I feel confident. And you've almost been practicing it. So by the time you get there, it's a done deal. It's there, right there, because we're not physical.
Yeah.
And it's that perceptual shift, isn't it? That's what this awakening is about. It's the perceptual shift of, I'm just a little human being, and I'm caught up in a system, and I've got to go along with the system, and I've got no power. It's not true.
Yeah.
And the more of us that realize that, the more we actually feed into the new earth, the new order.
Yeah. And the new order is so different to the old order. The old order was that you're a tiny fragment in a big sea of stuff. And the new way of seeing is to absolutely know that we all connected, that there is only one being, and there's only one I.
Yeah.
And, the I am John. Yeah, there's one separate John, but the I is the same I in all of you. There's only one being, and the being that I am, you are also. And the being that's inside you is also in the tree, in the sea, in the flower, in the bird, in the animal. It's one being. So in the old world, we used to create through maybe the power of wishing and power of imagination, but we used to try and create for the little me, the John part of me. And that was a very destructive way of creating, because it didn't take into account the greater flow of energy around us. It didn't take into account the tapestry of life around us. When we use the imagination now, as we start to awaken, we start to use it in the service of the whole. Yes. In other words, in the service of life, in the service of the one being. So it's not about me getting my needs met individually. It's about us getting our needs met individually. And, on the graph, the map of consciousness that I have, you have the horizontal plane and you have the vertical plane. The mind tends to work on the horizontal plane, which is all about me, mine, and mine. When you start to awaken and you start to really use the power of imagination in alignment with creating a new world that we want, you create from the vertical. And the vertical is about we, it's about us. It's about realizing who you really are at the greatest level. And the predominant feeling there isn't about acquisition anymore. It's not about acquiring something. It's not about getting your needs met anymore. It's about expressing everything that's aligned with the vertical plane. So words that are in the vertical plane or signposts in the vertical plane are words like peace, like joy, like connection, like love, like ease and freedom. Yes. These are all the words. So those words, when they fit into this imaginal power which we have, and we see freedom. Freedom is not about you being free. It's about us being free. Because if one of us is not free, then none of us are free.
Yeah.
And, love does not exclude anyone. So if you want love in your life, you want love for everyone. Because love, everything in the vertical plane is inclusive, not exclusive.
It's non-dual.
Non-dual. So it's all for all of us. So ease is not only ease for you in your life, it's ease for everyone who shares this planet with us. And that's the greatest realization. Yeah. And something else I just wanted to touch on, and that was we're not alone in this awakening process. You are not fully responsible for the parents that you have and for the social systems you were born into. There was a greater intelligence that was orchestrating your body as you were in utero, that was forming your beautiful fingers and your toes and your heart and your brain. That intelligence is still with us today, and it's permeating this whole evolutionary process that we're going through. So we're not alone in this. We're co-creators as part of us. And, sometimes we think we were just an accident of nature. But in fact, no, I'm going to say that the whole universe conspired to bring you into this time and this place that you're in right now. In other words, you were imagined into reality from this incredible intelligence. You can call it the divine if you like, you can call it life if you like, you can call it the cosmos if you like, you can call it the universe. You were the dream, and you are the dream of this incredible intelligence called life and called love. And this intelligence dreamt the world, the earth, into creation, and the world dreamt us into creation. And so this is a beautiful dance that we are participating in with the cosmos. And the word cosmos means order. So there is order in this unfoldment. It's not just a random process. And I believe to really regain our power is actually handing the power back over. Handing the power back over to this incredible intelligence called life. Not my will be done, but thy will be done. And how we do that is by aligning with that vertical plane, by participating in the dance of life. We participate in the creation or the alignment with that peace, with that joy, with everything that's in the vertical plane. And that's when we become co-creators of a new earth. Not the old earth improved on the horizontal plane, which is what the mind wants. The caterpillar wants a bigger tree with more leaves. No, something new is being born, and it's born not of the old, but of the new.
Yeah, and we are co-creators, and on a soul level, I believe that every single one of us that are on the planet right now elected to be here. It was a contract that agreement that we reached, and we participated in. So it's also a case, a perceptual shift of accepting it, as opposed to resisting, because there's a lot of resistance around, and we can all feel it, and we all go into that. Why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. Why is this happening? But if we put ourselves up onto a higher level and get a broader perspective of it and say, look, we signed up for this, otherwise we wouldn't be here. So how can we feed into the new awakening, the new world, the new earth, a new way of being? How can we actually feed into that? By accepting it, that it's happening, and by saying, right, how can we contribute to forming something brand new? Because I don't believe it's going to ever go back to the way it was. There's something new being born here, and it's in its infancy. It's even before its infancy. So there's a lot of old still dying, so that the new can actually come through. So there is a feeling of chaos, and there can be a feeling of fear and the unknown. So it's actually embracing impermanence, embracing the unknown. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust that I'm here for a purpose. So how can I feed into that purpose every day with my thoughts and my feelings? How can I contribute in that way? You know, it's not a case of having to actually necessarily be out there doing anything. We are so powerful in just holding a space for a new vision. Where, as John said, we're all involved. It's not just about me, me, me. This is much more than that. I think all of us realize that. It's gone way beyond just me, Michelle, being happy. It's not about that. This is much bigger than that.
Yeah.
And so those of us on the call are all, you know, we're kind of on a similar page in that way. So how can we contribute? How can we bring acceptance to it? Because as soon as you're in resistance, you're in polarity. And you're saying, this is wrong, it shouldn't be happening, so I'm going to resist it. And as soon as you're resisting it, you're blocking it. So how can we actually just say, it's supposed to be happening because it is happening. So how can I be part of the new?
Yeah. And the greatest power we have is the power of love, the power of compassion and acceptance. And that's all in the vertical plane. And some people think, well, I must go out and I must go and lead people, or how can I, you know, whatever in the outer world. And I say, no.
Well, you can do that.
That every one of us has a perfect part to play in this. And, you know, the feet don't do the same jobs on the body as the hands do. The eyes do very different work to the ears. We're all different aspects of the one. And you are doing exactly what you're meant to do in this moment. You are exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. You're not meant to be anywhere else. If you were meant to be somewhere else, you would be somewhere else. So it's to recognize that where you are is divinely perfect. And wherever you are, it's to be more mindful of the feelings that you're feeling and the pictures you hold in your mind. That's the real work that we have to do. And there are certain people who are born leaders, and they're out there in the world making things happen, and that's fine. That's their perfect role. But there are other people who are what's called frequency holders. These are people whose primary purpose in life is just to anchor a higher vibration, a higher feeling, a feeling of compassion and love within themselves. And those frequency holders are possibly way more important than those who are out there in the world of doing and making things happen. And to realize that that's the greatest power which each one of us have to make, whether we are a leader out there in the world or whether we are a frequency holder, to realize that the thoughts we think, the feelings we feel, and the pictures we imagine in our mind, that's the real power that the new earth is being created from. And again, just to remind you that we're not alone in this process. The whole cosmos is going through an upgrade at the moment. They say that at the center of our galaxy is a black hole, and the black hole is receding at the moment. So the blackness, the darkness is being made smaller, and the light is being amplified. And we're a tiny fraction of this evolutionary process that's going on. But we might be a tiny part of it, but we're a very, very vital part of it. Very, very vital part of this massive, huge cosmic blooming, if you want. And just to add one thing onto that, talking about blooming. So you have a flower, and you know, sometimes we want the flower to open quickly. No, but you got to wait for this petal to peel back before that petal can peel back, before that petal can peel back, and then the petals all peel back, and they're so beautiful. And then we want to freeze it. We want to hold that beautiful flower. And then what happens is this petal starts dropping off, and this petal, and we think, no, something's wrong. No, it's not. Because as the fruit grows, so the petals automatically drop away. So don't hold on to the old. There is a new earth being born, and it's like that fruit coming out. Beautiful. So the universe is now fruiting. Is there a word?
Oh, well, I think we just made one. It's nice.
Made one.
Fruiting is nice.
Yeah.
It's fruit.
It was flowering,
now it's
and now
fruiting.
it's fruiting. And I believe we with our thoughts and our feelings, we can be conscious participants in this process. Not the creator, we're not the creator, but we are participants in this beautiful new world that's being born through us. And it is beautiful, despite how the world may look. feel the feelings you want to feel. Picture the beautiful pictures you want to picture. How do you want life to be? And always make it inclusive. So it's basically a community process that we're involved in.
You wake up in the morning, that's what you do first. And you go to sleep at night, that's what you do last, before you go into your dream state. And then that's feeding into the dream state.
Yeah.
So what do you want to see? How do you want to see humanity? How do you want to see us all connected in love, living beautiful, connected lives? That's what we can visualize. That's what we can imagine. And if you do that every day, a few times a day, and then during the day, acknowledge the beauty that you're seeing. Because that's also you feeding into that feeling of, I'm abundant already. Look at this beauty in front of me. Look at the sun coming through. Look at this flower. Look at this cat. Look at you. It's just whatever that feeling is, that's continually feeding into it. And that's probably the most important thing any of us can be doing right now.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Out of anything that we can be doing right now, I believe this is the most important thing we could be doing.
Yeah.
And all of us can do it. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be famous, you don't have to be particularly powerful, you don't have to have a following. You can just do it whenever you can.
Know your own feeling.
It's just to be cognizant of it, to bring your awareness back. Where are my feelings? Where are my thoughts? And then to bring them back. Just to be aware of it.
And don't allow what the sort of the way the world is structured at the moment, the way the world is run at the moment, to limit your imagination. Dream big dreams.
Dream bigger.
I attended a series of talks recently by a man who has been living in Auroville in India for the last 16 years. And Auroville in India is an intentional community set up in 1968, I think it was. That's when it was birthed. And it's really a beautiful blueprint for a new earth, where you have, I think there are over 3,000 permanent people there living now. There's many, many more that travel through there, but they don't have money. Now, we live in a money-driven universe. You know, everything revolves around money. And why? Why? Let's dream bigger than money. So there they have, for example, 100 restaurants, and they've got schools, and they've got libraries, and they've got theaters, and no money. And it works beautifully. And so don't allow the way society is structured at the moment to limit your imagination. Dream big and dream beautiful and dream collective. And just on the small side, even in your day-to-day life, I suggest supporting small local little businesses. For example, support the greengrocer down the road, not the big supermarket chain, for example. Support the person who's making clothes from home or whatever. Support local, because that's the world that we want to be born in. Surely it's born into it. It's a world of community and connection and caring and compassion, not dealing with factories that are overseas, but dealing with something that's made locally, food that's grown locally. Grow your own food in your garden and share it with your neighbors. Surely that's the world that you would like to live in. So let's start doing it in small little stages at the moment, and the universe will support us absolutely in that. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah. So that's about wraps up tonight, but this is a big subject, and we're going to be exploring this power that we have within us over the whole month of November in our inner space group, which everyone can join. It's I think the fee is $350 for the month, isn't it? $350. Yes. And you can join us for a whole month on Inner Space. You get 2 90-minute Zoom meetups with us. You get teachings. You get
exercises,
all sorts
you
of
get
stuff,
meditations and visualization, all sorts of things.
And that's on our website, journeysofAwakening.com. And you
join
can
us.
just click on and join us if you want. So we've got a whole month to explore this.
And we just go much deeper. And obviously we explore it in a much deeper way because we've got more time.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So now you're going to help us visualize. Okay,
yes.
super.
All right, let's just get ourselves comfy and take a deep, beautiful breath in and a releasing breath out. Just really nestle in and make yourself really comfortable. So allow yourself to really settle in and soften into this moment. Take another beautiful deep breath in And on the out breath, just release anything that you don't need to be carrying right now. You can always pick it up again later. And now just gently notice the breath as it comes in and it flows out. And with each out breath, soften your body a little bit more. Allow your shoulders to drop. Allow your jaw to soften. Allow your hands to just rest gently wherever they are. Imagine a beautiful white light coming in through the top of your head, flowing all the way down through your head, clearing out whatever no longer serves, any thoughts, any beliefs, any subconscious thoughts, anything that's blocking your clear channel. And as it moves through your head, soften your head. Now bring that light down into your neck, down into your shoulders, down through your arms, into your hands. And allow this beautiful white light to come filtering all the way down, pouring down through your body, through your torso, front and back, down your spinal column, into all your organs, your bones, your tissues, your muscles, down into your pelvic area and your hips, down into your legs, into your feet, down into the earth, right down into the core of Mother Earth. And imagine as you sit here that you have a beautiful white open channel, a cleared channel of energy, so that you're completely clear. You're holding nothing right now that you don't need. There's lots of space inside you. And now allow that channel, you can even imagine as it like a tube, allow that to broaden and broaden and broaden so that it actually completely encompasses you. So you're surrounded by this beautiful space, this clear channel. And now in your mind's eye, you can, if you like, take your attention to your middle of your forehead, to your third eye. Imagine a place which brings you joy, brings you peace, helps you to feel free, alive, connected. A beautiful place from nature. See if you can imagine it as well as you imagine. It doesn't necessarily have to be a very clear picture. Just imagine in your mind's eye the way you imagine where you are. Connect with your environment, what you can see with your eyes, with your inner eyes. See with your inner eyes the colors around you. See the light. What's the light like? What's the color of the light? Is it warm light? Is it cool light? What is around you? What life forms are around you? Really connect with this sense of inner sight. And imagine this with all of your imagination in terms of your inner sight. As you allow the pictures to form in your mind's eye, smell what you can smell in this environment. What can you smell in the air? Possibly there are plants. What does your sensory smell say? What can you hear in this beautiful scene in nature? Maybe you can hear the wind, or maybe you can hear water or trees rustling. Imagine the sense of sound. What can you hear? And what can you feel? What can you feel underneath your feet? Imagine your feet sinking into the ground. Feel the temperature of the ground as your feet sink into it. Feel the air on your skin, the temperature of the air on your skin. Make it as vivid as possible. Allow your whole body, all your bodies, your etheric body, your mental body, your emotional body, all of you, to feel into this scene. And really feel what it feels like. How do you feel in this moment? In your mind's eye, imagine your body demonstrating how you feel in this moment. Opening to it. Expanding it. Expanding the feeling inside you. Allowing that feeling to expand right through your body, ripple out into all your cells, all your muscles, every single part of your being, filling you up, filling up your auric field. And then just allow this feeling that you're feeling right now to radiate outwards. There's no effort. There's no doing this. Just allow it to ripple out as it naturally does. Allow it to expand infinitely into the universe, into the field. Really just luxuriate in this feeling. And know that at any time during your day, any time during the night, in the morning, you can bring yourself back to this feeling as often as you need to. And that by bringing yourself to this empowered feeling, you are feeding into a new vision for the earth. You are creating, you are co-creating a new reality. So just feeling into this feeling again, allowing it to permeate your whole being. Connecting with how you feel in your heart right now. And setting an intention for this week to keep connecting back to your heart, back to these feelings. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Take a beautiful, deep, cleansing breath in. And a lovely, soft, gentle, releasing breath out. And when you're ready, you can gently start to open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Good.
That was really beautiful. I saw myself standing there, beautiful nature, my arms stretched out, saying, I am joy, but feeling it and knowing it, and I am blessed. I am joy and I am blessed. So it was really nice to feel that feeling. And every moment of every day being, I am joy and I am blessed, which I am already. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Let us know in the comment section where you found yourself and the feelings that you had inside yourself.
Love to hear.
That's really nice. Yes. And also, if you've enjoyed tonight, please press the like and share button. It really does help get this out into a broader community. Like and share. Thank you. And we have an affirmation card, and Michelle's going to choose an affirmation card. Let's just see.
Which one shall I choose?
Oh, that's
We've got
nice.
surrendered action brings me peace. That's really interesting.
Surrendered
action, which is kind of what we've just done.
Yeah, surrendered action brings me peace. We'll put that up on the Facebook page. We'll photograph it and put it up there. And you can work with that for the week ahead. That's really beautiful. Surrendered action brings me peace.
Lovely.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for joining us tonight. We love having your company with us on these satsangs, and I absolutely guarantee you, if you could see with your third eye the light that radiates from this group, it would be really, truly beautiful around the world. So thank you for sharing your light, and you can share the satsang as well. Thanks,
everybody.
Bless you all. We look forward to catching up with you next Sunday for Sunday Satsang with John and Michelle.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Nighty
Have a
beautiful evening. I love you.